Hello, guys. I do apologize for my tardiness, but I think we're having some technical difficulties here. I don't know what's going on. My Wi-Fi is not the best. Forget it's Central Time in Texas. Yes, Central Time. Central Time. Okay. Girl, I got some notes. Okay. I got the notes here. I had a lot to say. Honestly, I just want to say this. Black women, we are not desperate when it comes to dating. Okay, we're not desperate for a man. Okay, cool. Glad I got that out the way. Let's go ahead and get into this video, but I'm going to go ahead and play my intro because we have to do the intro. And I'll be back. Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss. I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
No, I couldn't.
It's two people that involved in the divorce, bro.
Yeah, but no, I never talked about this one.
Oh, I'm like, what is going on? Not YouTube trying to show y'all what my treat gonna be for later, but I do have a treat for you guys after this. So I tuned in to Netflix, The Ultimatum reality show with Vanessa and Nick. And this show, girl, it was messy. It was messy. I'm like, oh my God, I'm over here stressing out because let me tell you something. I'm a jealous person. What's mine is mine, and if it's mine, you don't need to be touching it. You know what I mean? I don't even like when people go in my refrigerator and eat my leftovers and didn't even ask me if I wanted it, you know? And so I just don't like the show because it was very messy, but it was also very entertaining. It was interesting, and just seeing how it all felt together, I fell into place towards the end, was actually very interesting. So I enjoyed this perspective on, I guess, giving your spouse the ultimatum. One thing that I learned from this show is that it does not take 2 years for a man to marry you. It doesn't. It doesn't. Not after 25. I think age, I think that plays a major part, but I don't think it takes 2 years to be in a relationship to get a man to marry you. Okay. Now, of course, you guys dated, then you got into a relationship. You may have dated for a year or two, and then you got into a relationship. But men on this show, the men on this show, as young as they were, because honestly, I felt like everybody on this show was very young, but for as young as they were and everything like that, they were ready to commit. A lot of them are actually like ready to commit after meeting a woman in 3 weeks. I'm just messenger. Did you guys pick up on that? Because I definitely picked up on that. Okay. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It only took 3 weeks. Randall's 28. I think the oldest one on the show was Nate. Nate was 36. I picked up on that too. But 3 3 weeks though? I mean, it just taken me in 3 weeks. Got it. You will not see me in a relationship past I would say after 25, a year. I'm just being honest. It shouldn't take that long. I mean, at 25, it's like if you're in a relationship, what are we doing? After 25, it's like, what is there? We just gonna be dating each other just to date? Like this is high school? It don't make sense. Somebody told me Nate was 36. I could be wrong, but I picked up on that at the reunion. That's why he wanted kids so bad. Or maybe he said it like he didn't want to be 36 without kids. Maybe I interpreted or comprehended that wrong, but I thought he was 36. But let me go ahead and pull up this slideshow. Y'all know I like to do slideshows. I got to do a slideshow because we need to get very clear on what we all witnessed with this show. So let me go ahead and pull it up. Let me also mute this. Oh, wait, I already got it up. Okay, let me just pull it up. Lord. Yeah, everyone was fairly young. I'm not really paying attention. Randall was 26. I'm not really paying attention to how old the women were because I really feel like that's irrelevant. I'm really looking at the men because of finances. Just being honest. Oh, I'm like, sorry, y'all, just give me a sec. It's just, I don't know what's going on here. It's taking me a minute here to pull it up. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. I kind of want to. Okay. So I highly recommend that you watch this show, you guys. If you're unfamiliar with this show, it's on Netflix. I would give you my Netflix password, but unfortunately, I can't do that. I can't afford that. But if you can steal somebody else's password and get you a free, tune in. Listen, I don't judge over here, but I feel like this show is very educational in so many different ways. If you are trying to learn how to date, if you're trying to learn how to navigate the dating scene, I really feel like this is a great show to watch so that you can learn from the experiences that these couples had while on the show. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first couple. Okay, so I wanted to start with Shanique. I think, is it Shanique? Shanique? I feel like it's Shanique. Everyone keeps pronouncing it wrong. It's either Shanice or Shanique. I feel like it's Shanique. Okay. I believe that is how you pronounce her name. And Randall. Who said they like Alexis? Because it's like, girl, like, in what way? That girl got on my nerves. I'm like, girl. Shanique. Okay, it's pronounced Shanique. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Black Panda. Okay, so I'm going to start with Shanique and Randall. Where are my notes on in there? My notes got a little cray. Okay, this. Okay, not this one. Okay. So some things that I wanted to point out is that I found Shanique to be a very phenomenal woman. Let me just throw that out here. Okay. The only thing that I could honestly say in a constructive way, constructive criticism, is that I do feel like Shanique could listen more. She could tap into her femininity just a tad more when it comes to communication. And the reason why I say that is because that was just something that I noticed. That was just something that I picked up on, is that she tends to speak over people. She doesn't really listen well. She always interjects. If someone doesn't say things in a way that she feels should be said, But outside of that, I really feel like she's a phenomenal woman. I mean, she's classy. I like how she carries herself. She has a banging body. She seems like she has a nice personality. I don't get this. She has an attitude problem. I don't get that from her. But when it comes to how she communicates, she just needs to be a better listener. That's really it. Other than that, I mean, homegirl got it going on. Okay. She got it going on, in my opinion. Now, Randall to me, I felt he was feminine. And I think there's more to the story behind why he doesn't want to move forward with a relationship. And I spoke to my brother earlier today, my younger brother. He tuned in, he watched the show. And my brother also felt like, he was a little, and I don't like speaking negatively on a Black man's sexuality because it's actually harmful to me to do that. If I was to shade a Black man in his sexuality, it's just harmful. So I don't mock a Black man's sexuality because honestly, he should feel comfortable in his skin. He should live in his truth and he should be himself proudly. And I will support him. I will not shade him with that. But I think that he's still trying to figure out his sexuality. I don't know why. I think a lot of Black men are, to be honest. I'm just keeping it real with you. I think a lot of them are. And this is why a lot of them don't want to, step up and move forward with you in a relationship. And the reason why, you know this, he has affectionate issues, passionate issues, and effort issues. And it's not just with Shanique. It's also with Madlyn. Like he had the same issue that he had with Shanique with Madlyn. So it's like, what is so hard for you to show women affection, love, passion, something? That's what I didn't understand. And I'm like, shouldn't be this hard for a man to show that to a woman in general. Like, now, apparently someone said that he did get a hard on when he was with Madlyn or whatever like that. And I'm just like, when was that? When did that take place? Because I'm shocked. I'm like, you got a hard on when? I'm just like, where did that take place? But he may be bisexual. That's another thing. He may be bisexual, but I feel like he's still trying to figure himself out, which there's nothing wrong with that, but don't drag this woman along. Like, let her go. Another thing that I found to be interesting about this show. Let's move on. Because I have to spill me. You do. Hold on. Did I put it in here? We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to Colby and Madlyn. But this girl, day one, she got on my nerves. Okay. She got on my damn nerves. I couldn't stand her because I was picking up on her masculine energy a mile away. And you know what I find to be so interesting to me? This woman was, I'm trying to think. I want to say she was the most masculine woman on the show. Madlyn was the most masculine. She was the one that got wiped. But yeah, Maddie, one thing that I have noticed with white women, and this is no shade, but every time I tap into a reality show, a dating show, they create problems within their relationship. I'm like, how are you out to dinner and it's a romantic setting and somehow you find a problem, you create a problem. You can't even enjoy the outing. You can't even enjoy the moment because you're really sitting here creating a problem. And I saw her a mile away. Like the first few episodes, I was just irritated by her simply because when she starts to drink, she's unhinged. I just didn't like that. And then also she's very blunt, but not in an attractive way. Like it's like a blunt drunk way. And it's just like, girl, nobody wants to listen to you. Then on top of that, the things that she would complain about when it came to Colby, it was just like, girl, it seems like you want to be the man in the relationship. That's what it seemed like. It seemed like you're afraid to allow this man to treat you the way that a lot of women want to be treated. And, she's very passive aggressive. And I just didn't understand that. And then another point that I want to make is that she was so hypocritical of Colby when he kissed that girl at the club, he met some girl at the club, kissed her or whatever like that, because he was typical male, typical human being. Let's be real. That he was sitting up here listening to the woman that he loves, the woman that he was in love with, talk about another man, talk about how she could see a future with him and all of this stuff. Like this man wasn't ready to marry her. I mean, think about it. Towards the end, he married her the day that she said yes. So when you rewind back to when they were trying to work things out and things like that, I mean, of course he's going to get jealous. If you sitting up here saying, oh, how wonderful this other man is, and you keep rejecting this man's marriage offer and things like that, why wouldn't he go kiss some random girl at the club out of hurt, out of jealousy? Who wouldn't do that? Come on, let's be realistic. I'm not saying it was right. She's very manipulative. She's very manipulative. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm saying that I understand why he did what he did out of hurt, but she can't handle the fact that she's the problem majority of the time. Did you guys notice that? She was just like, I don't understand why it's always me. I'm always the problem. Because you are. You are always the problem. And, whenever I watch these reality shows, I see a parallel situation here with a white woman and a black man. I can't be the only one. Every time there's a reality show and the main individuals on the show that have the most issues emotionally, they are a white woman and a black man. I cannot be the only one that notices that. I cannot be. And I feel bad for biracials. If you are mixed and you were raised by a white woman and a black man, God, I pray for you. I really do. I really do. I really pray for you, because I'm just like, oh my God, no wonder you guys have the most statistics when it comes to out of wedlock births and how the relationships or marriages never last. I mean, damn, I'm watching the show and I'm just like, the two main individuals on the show, Zay and Madlyn, were the absolute worst. I said, oh my God, you can't communicate with them. They deflect. They want to project some type of negativity onto you. No wonder April was like, oh my God, Colby, he's so positive. Every day he wakes, he's such a positive person. But when he's with Madlyn, it's like every day is negativity. Every day he got to be in that positive energy, because Madlyn is going to bring him down at some point. So I can't help but notice that. So help me God, I pray for those biracials that are mixed with black and white, and your mama white and your daddy is black. God, I pray for you, for real. Because every time I watch these reality shows, I just be like, okay, she has issues and it's just a mess. And then the black man has issues. It's like, y'all need to go figure things out. Y'all need to go figure life out. Is Colby trash? I don't feel like Colby is trash. I really want to know what was his reasoning behind wanting to marry in general. I don't feel like he was necessarily ready for marriage. Honestly, I didn't think any of these people on the show were ready for marriage, but I felt like Colby was the best on the show, in my opinion. I would have took my chance with him out of anybody. Honestly, I would have went home by myself, if I'm just being completely honest, because I'm just like, first of all, y'all all too young. Y'all need to figure out life just a little bit longer. I probably would have went home by myself. I wouldn't have went home with nobody. I don't think Colby is trash. I think some of you guys are looking for the perfect man and he does not exist. If you want the perfect man, you're going to bump into a narcissist, okay? You want the perfect man, you're going to bump into a shapeshifter. Let that go. You got to understand a man is going to come with something. So Colby was arrogant. Okay. He has confidence. Great. I can handle that. What I cannot handle is a liar. What I cannot handle is a man that cannot communicate. What I cannot handle is a man that acts like a toddler. I can't handle that. I can't. I cannot handle that. So y'all got to let that go, thinking you're going to find some perfect man out here. You need to be a little more realistic, because if you don't, you're going to be taken advantage of so easily. And I saw that. And I'm going to get into it later. But yeah, I felt like Madlyn was a hot mess. I felt like she was creating problems within her relationship. She was doing the absolute most for no reason. I didn't like how she ran to her friends and bashed Colby to her friends, and how her friends were chiming in. One thing that I have learned within my 30 years of life is when you include third parties in your relationship problems and differences and things like that, you're creating more drama. You're literally creating drama, unnecessary drama. You should only have one designated person that you can go to that you truly trust, whether it's a therapist, counselor, advisor, a parent that you really, really trust that's non-judgmental, and get some advice from them. But when you include all of these people, she said she done talked to her girlfriends. She done went to she done talked to her parents. She done went to I don't know how many people. And the reason why you never should do this is because when you are trying to make a decision for yourself, you're trying to make a decision for yourself, you're creating confusion. You're creating confusion when you include all of these people. And this is why I don't tell my mama nothing. I don't tell my mama nothing. I don't tell my siblings much of anything. I tell them need to know basis. I may tell my best friend, who I'm dealing with, who I'm talking to, if I go missing or something like that, she need to know the 411. But outside of that, I don't be telling people my business like that. That's why whenever I hear rumors, I'm like, girl, that's news to me. I don't know where y'all got that from, because I don't tell nobody my business. Because when it comes to me making decisions in my life, I do not want to be confused. I want to have complete clarity, and I want to make sure that I'm choosing what is best for me. I can't do that if I have 20 different opinions. This is another reason why I don't put my business on the internet. It just does not make sense. So I don't know. No, Colby did not brainwash her. Listen, we all know the Karens. The Karens love to play the victim. So that is exactly what she's doing. And she tried to make Colby out to be this villain. But to be honest, when you saw him interact with another woman, everyone chose Colby because they had that personable interaction with him. And it was probably really, really good energy. So I don't know. Listen, don't be telling people your business, though. That is the worst thing you could do. You want to make sure that you're making decisions through clarity, and you're making them based off of what is truly best for you. And you can't do that when you have 20, 30 different opinions in your ear at one time. Also, Madlyn was, she had some type of weird fetish towards Randall. And the reason, let me tell you something. The reason why Randall and Madlyn did not work out was because she didn't get the black man experience, girl. She didn't get the stereotypical black man experience. And Randall didn't get the stereotypical white woman experience. He got a white woman from hell. Do you hear me? And so he got a little taste of what it would be like to be with a white woman and got the hell up out of there. He like, oh, Shanique ain't that bad. All the little things I was complaining about. Actually, I sound selfish. Did you catch that? I said, oh. And to be honest, she wanted that stereotypical, macho, aggressive, toxic masculinity black man that was going to beat her down. And this was her path to get that. Poor Colby. And she didn't get it. That's why she threw that little tantrum. And I'm like, girl, why are you throwing a tantrum because you didn't get the D and you wanted the D? She was like, is he gonna wait until the last day? Girl, no, he ain't trying to D you down. He's not the stereotypical black man. And for that, Randall, I do respect. I actually do. I respect that. I do. Because that's exactly what she wanted. And she was like, oh, I get this free pass. I get to live out my fantasy, and I get to test out a black man. And she was upset that she didn't get that. And that's the only reason why she didn't go with Randall. Because honestly, I think if she would have had sex with Randall and it would have been like Moon and the Stars or whatever she thought it was going to be, she wouldn't have married Colby. I don't think she would have. I don't. And Randall, this is when I knew Randall wasn't going to choose her. The man had her dog. The man was chasing her. She done closed the elevator door and all of this, and she has alcohol in her. And this was the same reason he said he didn't like Shanique, because remember when Shanique got a little alcohol in her and she was being petty. Listen, this is where I feel like men are delusional. Men really think that a woman is not going to come with her flaws as well. Shanique is petty, but she ain't no Madlyn. Madlyn is drama, okay? Complete drama. And that's what he quickly realized was like, dang, Shanique really ain't that bad. She really not that bad. And so when the elevator door was closing and he was trying to open the elevator door, carrying the dog, and she was just like, no, leave me alone. She was being dramatic like a Karen. He was like, oh, hell no, I didn't sign up for this. And to be honest, Randall, he's very passive. And so he keeps choosing the same woman. Like he keeps choosing women that are more dominant. And what he doesn't understand is if he would actually become more dominant, more masculine, he wouldn't have to deal with these women that carry themselves in that way. But I'm assuming at this point that's what he likes, or he may be into men. I don't know. He may be bisexual. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But he really thought he done came up with Madlyn, and then Madlyn showed him like, no, you didn't. I have my problems too. I'm a little difficult too. And he didn't like that. I knew after that elevator scene, it was over. He was gonna run back to Shanique. I knew it. Ooh, wee. I know y'all ready for this one. There's nothing wrong with being a strong woman, but when there's no need in you being a stronger woman than a man when you're with a man, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. There's nothing wrong with being a strong woman, but when you have a man by your side, that don't make no damn sense, because first of all, you exhausting yourself for no reason. The only time you need to be a strong woman is when you standing by yourself. Honestly, that's how I see it. There's no need in you being extra strong and this and that when there's a man right there. And literally the way you should look at it is like, this is assistance. This is less work. This partner that I have means that I can sit down and not do anything because he has my back. There's no need in you being a strong woman or a stronger woman next to a strong man. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. That just don't make sense to me. That's like, why waste your energy like that? That don't make sense. Okay. Let me move on to Rae and Zay. Wait, hold on. Because I think I have multiple notes on this. Okay. So this is the thing with Rae and Zay. They had the most toxic relationship on the show. I think Rae needed to find someone more than any other woman on the show. I'm just being honest. But the number one thing that stuck out to me is that Zay triggers Ray's trauma and Rae triggers Zay's trauma. But let me explain. Zay definitely has avoidant personality disorders. Girl, it's clear as day. It's just clear as day. But Zay suffers from abandonment issues, and he hates feeling shut out. He does not like feeling shut out. He doesn't like feeling left out. And when Rae doesn't express herself, when they're not like in it together with each other, like mentally and emotionally and stuff like that, he feels abandoned. And that's where it really, 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 really stems from. Like, they trigger each other, and the way that they trigger each other is based off of their trauma. And so another thing that I picked up was Ray's trauma is triggered by Zay because she isn't being seen. She isn't being heard for who she is. And she talked about this. And the reason why she's not being heard is because when they communicate, Zay is a horrible communicator. And I need men to understand, just people in general, when you communicate with someone, you have to be a listener. You have to listen to comprehend. Okay? It's not just you verbally expressing yourself. Communication also means you have to listen, you have to comprehend, you have to try to understand reason with where a person may be coming from. And a lot of people don't understand how effective communication actually works. And so, like I was saying, Rae's trauma is triggered by Zay because she isn't being seen or heard because he deflects a lot. So she's been in a 2-year relationship with a man that deflects on things, like really small things that may affect her in a certain type of way. Like, prime example, his Instagram. His Instagram was a major issue within the relationship. And so whenever she would confront him about that and express herself the way that he asked, he doesn't actually listen to what she's saying because he has horrible communication skills. And so that triggers Rae's trauma because now she's not being seen, she's not being heard. And then also another thing that Zay does really, really, really bad is he deflects a lot. So if you confront him on something, automatically he's going to deflect, and somehow it's been flipped and it's back onto you. You're the problem. And so again, that triggers Rae's trauma. She's not being seen and she's not being heard. So we have two people that are both broken. Let's be real. And they're in a relationship and they just trigger each other. That's all they do. And they clash. They just keep clashing at each other, and it's just never going to work out because they actually need to go their separate ways and go work on themselves. And then another reason why I feel like that was part of Rae's trauma was because on the reality show, she said she's never really been able to express herself. And finally, that she's tapping into that, she's learning that she's bisexual. And that was another thing. So she's learning that she's bisexual, something that she had a hard time expressing or I guess like accepting about herself. Because again, people never really heard her or would see her in the way that she needed to. Yes, Zay is very argumentative when he feels attacked. Like, he doesn't handle constructive criticism well. He doesn't take constructive criticism at all. He argued with her mama. He argued with Shanique. And I knew when Shanique and Zay had their first argument that the relationship wasn't going to work out because they clashed in the worst way as well. And Shanique is not the type to back down. So that was just going to be a horrible relationship altogether. Also, Zay reminds me of a 2-year-old toddler, a terrible toddler. Yes. And the reason why I say that is because I really feel like he hasn't grown emotionally within his growth from the age of 2. I really feel like he's emotionally 2 years old. Now, let me explain, because I have to really break this down for people, because I want you guys to understand that when you vet, you got to see how old a person is emotionally. It's not just their age. It's not like their physical age, but you need to vet a person to see how old they may be emotionally, for real. Because some of these men, they haven't grown since they were 2, 3, 4 years old. Zay, emotionally, he demonstrates that he's 2 and he's a toddler. Okay, when toddlers don't get their way, what do? They throw a tantrum. Sometimes they walk off when you're trying to talk to them. Whenever they don't get their way, they tend to shut down, and all of a sudden they have attitude with you and everything. He is emotionally 2 years old. I'm not even saying this to be funny. The crazy thing is a lot of men are, especially black men. So you have to, when you vet, you need to break it down in 2 parts. Okay, you look at their physical age, then you look at their emotional age. And this goes for your parents. Sometimes you can't even have a conversation with your parents because your parents, they're like the 6-year-old, your mother is the 6-year-old girl emotionally. Your father is the 8-year-old boy emotionally. Zay is the 2-year-old boy emotionally. So when you have a conversation with him, he's avoidant. He walks off a lot. He gets frustrated. And whenever a toddler, a 2-year-old cannot express themselves, if you have children, you'll see this. Whenever they can't articulate how they feel, they can't express how they feel, what is the first thing that they do? They throw a tantrum. And that's exactly what Zay does. When he gets so frustrated to a point where he's trying to express himself emotionally. He's trying to express himself and articulate himself. He can't do it. Like, and you know what? Zay is not a bad person. He's not a bad person. You know, when he spoke about his childhood and things like that, I actually could empathize with his situation. But sir, you're 5 years old. It's time for you to go and get some therapy and start working on yourself, because you should not be at this big age and not know how to express and articulate your emotions. And you're so-called in a relationship. You're so-called ready for marriage. You're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. So, and another thing, whenever he deflects, he always blames his childhood. A lot of men do. Well, I didn't have a father. My parents abandoned me. And so over the course of 2 years, Rae started to pick up on that. You know, she started to pick up on that. And I feel like that's why he triggers her trauma in the worst way, because she can't grow. Because whenever she tries to step outside of her comfort zone and go up against her trauma of expressing herself, he basically shoots her right back down to square one, deflects, blows up on her, then becomes this, he's very avoidant. He displays this avoidant behavior, and then they never get anywhere. And then Rae never got to express herself. He's avoiding his trauma by not going to therapy and working on how he can be a better communicator and how he can be better at articulating himself and his emotions. And so, like, it's this hamster wheel. A lot of people are in relationships like that. A lot of people are in relationships like that. And you guys need to go your separate ways and work on yourself. I'm not saying that Rae and Zay, no, that wasn't gonna work out. But some of y'all could work it out. It just depends on the situation. But staying together and clashing like that and being with a man, this is number one. Being with a man that does not want to work on himself. That was another thing that I noticed was when Zay came back to the reunion, he didn't do, within that 6 months time frame, I saw no growth. None. And he didn't even talk about how he grew, he changed, he was working on this, he was working on that. None of that. So for that, I wouldn't take a man like that serious. You can only be with a man that truly is dedicated to working on himself and bettering himself. If he's not trying to work on himself or better himself, you really need to leave that man alone, because you can't grow with somebody like that. Somebody say he's smart when he don't talk. Another point that I want to make. Yes, please get the likes up. Thank you. Another point that I want to make. This was the biggest thing that I saw. Why is it that every time we see a black man on a reality show, he making a woman aggressive, masculine? Every time. Remember when I said, y'all know, I'm going to call it what it is. I am a preference. Okay. Great. So the reason why I say that is because I feel like I have the right to speak on this. Okay. I have every right to speak on this because I'm speaking from experience. You're not missing out on nothing. Okay. I don't know what else to say. You're not missing out on nothing. Do you not see how stressed he had Rae? He had that girl so stressed out. So stressed out. The girl was sitting outside the apartment by the elevators. She didn't even want to go back into the apartment. Do you not know how many preferences out here trying to save face on Instagram, but they don't even want to go home? They don't want to get out the car. They don't want to get out the car and go inside, girl. And you over here like, oh my God, I don't understand why black men don't want me. Girl, it's a blessing. Okay? Because ain't nobody want to deal with that. He had her stressed. I mean, stressed. I'm like, oh my God, this girl don't want to go inside. Then another thing that I caught on to, I guess she punched him or she hit him or something like that. Why is it that whenever you're dealing with a black man, somehow there's always a physical altercation? I want to know, because whenever I see a black woman get with a white man, there's rare occasions. I'm not gonna say it don't happen, but it's rare occasions where you'll see a black woman get in an altercation with a non-black man. But a black man getting an altercation with a non-black woman happens every day. Happens every freaking day. So I just want somebody to answer that. Why is it that every time a black man get in an interracial relationship, the woman is aggressive, she's stressed? And let me tell you something else. Another thing that I noticed with this situation, I talked about this on my Instagram too. These women can't handle the toxicity that these black men try to drag them through. Did you hear what that man said? He said, Zay said, I just don't understand. Like, how is it that you love somebody and you try to be with somebody and you just give up on them like that? You pushed her to the limit. You pushed her to the limit. You brought her to the edge. Because let's be real, when Rae came on the show, her foot was already out that door. He brought her to the edge and said, don't leave, and then pushes her. Sir, you stayed out to 8:15 in the morning. You left the house at midnight. You stayed out to 8:15 in the morning. You turned off your location. You decided to do that. And then you come home drunk with perfume on you. You pushed her off the edge. That's exactly what you said. Boom. I want you out of my life. And this is what some of these men do. This is why I say it's abusive. It's emotionally abusive. How you going? And he manipulated her by trying to say, how you just going to give up on someone like that? What do you mean, sir? So I should give you a pass for coming home at 8:15 in the morning after you turned off your location, and then all of a sudden you want me to come back and open, like have this a welcoming and welcoming you back with open arms? It don't work like that. Then another thing that I caught too at the reunion was Zay never told Rae about Shanique. So you want me to believe that your ass was out at 8:15 in the morning, okay, with your location off, because that's what you did. And you want me to believe that you telling the truth about where you was at. And you couldn't even tell Rae about what you did with Shanique. Shanique told Randall what she was doing with you, what she did with you. What's the secret? I just want to know what was really going on that night. I didn't buy it. I'm sorry. I did not buy it. But I think Rae did the right thing. Okay, I'm not saying Ray's innocent in the situation, because she did. She owned up to it at the reunion. She said she could have expressed herself better. But girl, you in a hostile situation like that. I mean, the man got you wanting to lay down, take medication, got you feeling physically sick and stressed out, to the point where it drove you to put your hands on this man, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with women putting their hands on no man, because if he hits you back, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be okay with that. But at the same time, this is what I'm talking about. Why is it that black men trigger you that bad, that extreme, to where now they got white women, exoticals, biracial, whatever the case, putting their hands on them? And this is why when it came to that Christian man, the Nigerian that was poked to death by his girlfriend, may he rest in peace, okay? For real, all jokes aside. We don't know what was going on in that relationship. We don't know what drove Courtney to that point. So I'm just going to stay out of it, because one thing black men are good for, they know how to trigger you in the worst way. So for that, I'm going to stay out of it. And I hope black women continue to stay out of it, because we don't know what went on in that relationship. And seeing how Zay was basically, like, she kept saying, get off of me, that we didn't see what went down, but she kept saying, get off of me. He wouldn't get off of her. He wouldn't give her space, because clearly she was upset. He basically wanted to smother her in that moment and not give her space to, like, calm down and then regroup and then come back and have a conversation. He had to have the conversation in that moment on his time, and he wouldn't respect her in that way. And so she hit him. She punched him, according to her. She felt bad. She was like, I don't know why. Like, this isn't us. I don't know why I hit you like that. I'm like, I know why. This man has you stressed out, sis. He has you stressed out. So, yeah, he crossed her boundaries. I'm not saying that it's okay for a woman to put their hands on a man, but that's when you need to leave a relationship. And that's the thing, you guys. your relationship should never get to a point where, okay, now you guys are getting physical. You need to leave before it gets physical. And you know that the relationship is over with. Rae knew this relationship was over with when she came on the show. So if she would have ended the relationship before she came on the show, that situation would have never happened. That's what I want women to understand. So, and another thing, to the black men that are out here watching, you cannot put what you try to put us through, because guess what? We're learning to change this, but some of you guys try to put what you put black women through, you try to put that on white women, the exotics and stuff like that. They can't handle it. They weren't raised in toxicity. Black women, for the most part, a lot of us were raised in toxicity. We grew up in it. We saw our grandmother deal with it. We saw our mom deal with it. So, you know, our tolerance level when it comes to toxicity is higher. These women can't handle it. Can't handle it. Rae, she needed to lay down and take medication. She felt that sick. She felt physically ill. Do you not understand how many black women out here? Oh no, I'm not on mute. Do you not understand how many black women are out here every day dealing with a toxic man? And this is another thing. This is another thing. I'm telling you. I tell you guys to leave for a reason, not because I want you to be single. I actually do want to see you in a healthy, happy relationship with companionship, love, peace, all of that good stuff, right? But if Rae would have left Zay, she would not have needed to take medication. She wouldn't have needed it. She would not have needed it. She dropped the man, she would have been just fine. She would have been just as healthy as could be. But she was holding on to that man, and that man was dragging her down, weighing her down, causing her to lay down and take medication and things like that. Black women are the most obese. We have the most health issues. And I talk about this all the time. The hormone that affects weight gain the most is the cortisol hormone, which triggers your hormones. Triggers this hormone. I don't know the name, but it triggers a hormone that causes you to want to eat more. There's a reason behind why black women are the most obese. We take on way too much. We keep people around that stress us out. We keep people around that don't reciprocate. We give, and we don't know how to cut people off. We just continue to give. There's a reason why we're in the worst shape physically. We're in the worst shape health-wise, mentally, emotionally. We have to start letting people go. Okay, can't keep holding on to people. If Rae would have dropped Zay, she would have been just fine. But no, she wanted to hold on to this man for whatever reason. And he was just dragging her, literally. So I need black women to really understand that. Like, some of y'all can't lose weight because your hormones are imbalanced. This man got you stressed out and it's affecting your hormones. And you ain't had a period in I don't know how long. If you get rid of the man, your life will change. The weight you're trying to lose, you'll lose it. You'll magically drop it. You'll probably start losing weight without trying if you just get rid of the man. Okay, some of y'all just need to get rid of the man. I'm sorry. And then guess what? You get rid of the old man that was toxic, drop the weight without trying, get you a new man and be happy. It's really simple. I don't know why people just be holding on to some man that is causing them to gain weight, can't lose weight, is falling out. Just let go. Do you not see how happy Rae is? And she stood up for herself too. Yes, listen, stress is the number one reason black women cannot lose weight. I'm gonna tell you that now. I've seen it in my mother, my grandmother. Can't lose stress. Okay. Keep the stress away, keep the weight off. Keep the stress on, keep the weight on. It's up to you. What else? Did I cover everything? Okay, I covered everything with Zay and Rae. Yeah, I'm very proud of her. Somebody said they're dehydrated. I'm proud of Rae, and I'm also proud of Shanique. And the reason why I'm proud of both of these women is because in the end, they chose themselves. And that's another thing. I saw so many women, black women, like, I don't understand why Shanique didn't choose Nate. Nate was not a good choice. I'm glad Shanique, she did go home with Randall, and then 6 months later, they broke up. And she once again chose herself. She got what she wanted, and started to see how things weren't aligning the way that she needed them to, and she separated for 6 months. I think that's great. She got back with Randall. She definitely got back with Randall, but she definitely took more time for herself. She was dating other people, and she was still friends with Randall, but she was out here dating other people. There's plenty of y'all that need to break up with some man you in a relationship with, so you can go date other people and just be friends with that man. Yeah, I felt like Nate was a disaster. And some black women are, some of y'all, I'm not going to say all of y'all, but some of y'all so damn desperate for a man, you are really willing to look past red flags just to say you got one. Doesn't matter. And that's the thing. It's like, you guys have to vet all men the same. You can't just go around giving white men a pass. You need to vet him the same. And I'm going to get into why I would not have chose Nate. We're going to get into it. I'm gonna get into it. You gotta vet all men the same. You can't give them a pass because they giving you that good mouthpiece and it sound good. Because Nate gave Lauren that good mouthpiece when he proposed, and you see how they showed back up to the reunion. Ain't nothing changed. So, yes, cortisol. You guys, and honestly, to the black women that are on here, if you want to know if your cortisol levels are too high, if your hormones are imbalanced, go get a panel done. Go get a panel test done. You can go to any testing center. You can call around and get some tests done, get some blood work done, and see if your cortisol levels are high. That is the main reason. If you're the type of woman, you eat salad, you exercise, you can't lose weight for nothing, you have a hormonal issue or a cortisol issue. You need to figure out which one it is. And if you have those issues, it triggers this other hormone that triggers your appetite to want to eat more, which can cause you to be an emotional eater. So a lot of women who are stressed tend to emotionally eat because that cortisol level is high and it triggers that hormone and it causes you to eat more. So you need to go get a test done to see what your levels are. I highly recommend. Okay, let's talk about April and Jake. I actually like April. I know a lot of people didn't like April. She talked a lot. But you know what? One thing that I really respected about April was she came on the show, she knew what she wanted. She knew exactly what she wanted. Was she pushy? Yeah. Can she talk a lot? Yeah. But I really think deep down she's a good person. I think she's a good person. She may be a lot to handle, too much to handle for Jake. But one thing that I liked about her was she was very real on the show. She was the realest on the show. She called out Nate. Okay, she called out Nate, and I know y'all saw that. She kept it real with him. She's like, how you gonna propose to Lauren? And she wasn't even your first choice. It was Shanique, then it was Madlyn, and then it was Lauren. So and you ended up proposing to Lauren after you were like, I'm gonna choose you. Okay, I'm gonna choose you. Black women, that's who y'all wanted Shanique to be with. Come on now. So, and April was like, oh, hell no. Like, she called him out on that. And I'm like, okay, yes, finally. She's definitely the youngest on the show, but I liked her. She came on the show. She knew what she wanted. She didn't waste her time. And no, Jake didn't choose her, but she's able to move on with her life. I respect a woman like that. Okay, I don't really got to like her personality necessarily. She seems like she's a lot to deal with on a daily basis. But yeah, I actually liked her. Ooh, y'all, I forgot to mention this. I knew I forgot something. Hold on, we got to go back to Rae. We got to go back to Rae and Zay. We got to go back. I have to go back because I got to make this known. I got to make this known because it ties in with Zay and his emotional self and how he's 2 years old, okay? I'm not saying this to be shady. I'm just being real, okay? Now, listen. Y'all know at the reunion, Rae went back and had tried to work things out with Zay. Rae went back and had sex with Zay, and he called her out on that. Did y'all notice that? I noticed that. But see, let me tell you something. I wasn't even mad at Rae because I knew exactly what it was. And y'all need to be aware, okay? The reason why you need to be aware is because men who are emotionally unavailable lay the best pipe. Let me repeat that. Men who are emotionally unavailable lay the best pipe. I'm going to say it again. Men who are emotionally unavailable lay the best pipe. Men who struggle with articulating and expressing their emotions and their feelings lay the best pipe. Why? Because that is the only way that they know how to express themselves emotionally. Okay? See, this is why you have to be careful. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. Men who are emotionally unavailable lay the best pipe because that is the only way they know how to express themselves. That's why a lot of black men out here they lead in their masculinity with the D in their pants. I done figured them out. That's why you have to be careful, ladies. Okay, you have to be careful. That is, I'm not saying it's okay or anything, but it's just real. Men who are emotionally unavailable, they lay the best pipe, and it's because that's the only way they know how to express themselves. That's how they express themselves. That's how they express their feelings. That's how they express their emotions. That's how they express themselves in a vulnerable way, is through sex. So they're going to lay that pipe. But listen, they're going to lay that pipe. And once you get out of that bedroom, that sack with them, they cannot, you're back to being in a toxic relationship with them. That's what sucks. That's what sucks. That's why you have to have the full package. That's why you have to find balance so that you as a woman can get what you want out of the situation, because you can't just settle for sex. After you get older, it's not enough for you. And then you get to a point where you break your own heart and you don't deserve that. So some women break their own heart. When you know this, I'm telling you, I'm like, listen, men who lay the best pipe, that's how they express themselves emotionally. So you all in love, right? But outside of the bedroom, it's nothing. It's nothing. And I see this a lot with black men because that's how they express themselves. They don't know how to do it verbally, but they definitely know how to do it sexually. And that's what you have to be careful of. Okay. I just had to get that out there because I forgot about that. I wrote that down. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so that's why Rae, she doubled back. I ain't judging her. I'm not saying it was the right thing to do, but she did. She doubled back. Some of y'all, some of my mentees, y'all be doubling back, and y'all be like, Yoni, I'm like, girl, don't tell. Girl, it ain't my business. I ain't gonna judge you because I done doubled back a few times myself. I sure did. But once I came to my senses, okay, because I had lost my damn mind, I was like, girl, this got to be the last time. Okay. Some of y'all double back, Rae double back. I ain't about to judge this girl. It's just, that's why you have to be careful because it creates confusion. Okay. That's why you shouldn't hop in the sack so quick with a man, because it will create confusion. It will create confusion. That's why some of y'all come to me during my mentor sessions like, Yoni, girl, I done been there. I done that. Okay. There's nothing to be ashamed about. But we do need to eventually get it together, okay? You can't keep doing it. You're going to hurt yourself. Because at that point, Rae, in that space, she was breaking her own heart over and over again. She went back a second time, and this time, she definitely broke her own heart. And so she has to take accountability for that. And that's why Zay, he was so quick to throw her under the bus. And he wanted everybody to know, yeah, I was still D'ing her down. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait, I remember Rae was asked why. I guess why Zay loves? She couldn't answer or why Rae loves Zay, and she couldn't answer the question in the beginning of the show. Yeah, because she was confused. Like, she was confused. He's one way in the bedroom with her, and then he was another way outside the bedroom. And that's what I'm saying. When you're dealing with an emotional man, it creates confusion in mind, like how we connect sexually in such a passionate way, right? But outside the bedroom, it's just a hot mess. We don't communicate. We're always clashing with each other. And that's the thing with sex. It's not there's no verbal exchange. Like it's all about like you can show your partner how you feel about him. And that's where he's very solid in. Like he's solid in that area. But when it comes to how he expresses his emotions and things like that, he's a 2-year-old toddler that throws tantrums and has this avoidant personality issue that he needs to work on. So yeah, I agree with that. Okay, let's move on. I just had to throw that out there because I needed y'all to understand that. Okay, now back to Jake and April. I honestly, I'm gonna keep it real with you because Jake. Let me tell you something. I want to say it's Zay and Jake is the second worst guy on the show. I'm sorry, y'all. We about to really get into this girl. And Rae, she's a smart girl. Okay, she done leveled up here. Okay, Rae, girl, she done leveled up. All the women have leveled up. I hope y'all noticing that. These men slacking. And this is what I'm saying. Like, men, they take forever to grow. They take forever to grow. That's why you got to date up. Or you got to date a man that's wise. Okay? Either date up or date wise, but no in between. Jake was the second worst man on the show. Okay. First of all, he was confused on what he wanted, but he had time to have unprotected sex. He didn't see a future with April. He ejaculated his sperm, but didn't want to marry April. But you know what? April has to take some accountability because April allowed this to happen knowing she knew this man wasn't trying to marry her like that. She knew. But I'm not gonna lie, Jake was causing confusion because she's like, okay, how can you lay up here and have sex with me and not pull out, not wear a condom, not take any preventative measures to prevent, a pregnancy or whatever like that. So that's what I didn't understand with Jake. I felt like Jake was the second worst man on the show. Like he was breadcrumbing her. Then Jake also bought her a car, invested in a house, but didn't want to marry her. He was breadcrumbing April while not knowing what he wanted. And that's the scary thing about this entire situation with the ultimatum and what it truly represents. There are a lot of women in relationships right now that are being breadcrumbed. But this man is confusing you. He's confusing you as a woman because he's pulling on your heart in a way that's actually very, 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 very selfish. It's super selfish because he's pulling on your heartstrings, like by having unprotected sex with you, not pulling out, potentially okay with you getting pregnant, but he doesn't have any future plans with you. He even bought this girl a car. Bought her a house, did all of these things. But deep down, he had no intentions of marrying this girl. And for that, I was very disgusted by Jake. Everyone wanted to make Jake and Rae's relationship like this amazing, phenomenal relationship. And they were just going to, travel the world after the show and just fall in love. And I'm just like, girl, I don't see that. I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. It was a damn mess, honestly. How can a man lay up there with you and have unprotected sex? Okay. And she over here taking pregnancy tests and it's not a shock to him. Like, come on. Like, I couldn't respect that. There's a lot of men out here like that, ladies. They'll trap you, but they won't marry you. That's exactly the issue that I had with Jake. Because at the reunion, they asked him, well, what would you have done if she was pregnant? Oh, I would have, took care of her and been there for the kid, blah, 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 blah. But he never said I would have did right by her and married her. Stop allowing these men to have access to your woman that way. It's not fair to you. And in that moment, because April allowed it, she did. She allowed it. She broke her own heart because you never allow me to play with you like that. I'm sorry. You never allow. He laying up there doing all of that. I mean, doing everything that a married couple would do. Literally everything. Bought a house, bought a car. unprotected sex. Come on. So for that, I'm like, April, girl, you brought a lot of that on yourself, because it was just like, yeah, Jake Thompson, that's his name. Everybody wanted to try to make it seem like he was such a great catch. I'm like, where? Is there something I missed? He breadcrumbed this girl to death. Okay. He knew what he was doing, and he knows she's emotionally high strung. He knows that she deeply wanted the family, the kids, and everything like that. And you know what? April's very young. I think he has convinced her in a manipulative way, based off of all the things that he has done, that that's something that she should pursue with him, because of how he was doing all of these things for her. But deep down, he had no intentions of marrying her. So a lot of y'all need to give that man that you live with, you need to give him that ultimatum, like, sir, listen, you trying to marry me or not? Okay? Because one thing that I enjoyed about April's story was, after this show ended, she walked away. Jake and them went their separate ways. They even lived together for a short period of time. She was like, F love, I don't care about love. She ended up meeting a nice guy, potentially her person. Somebody she didn't have to fight to be in a relationship with. How many of you guys are in relationships right now where the person you're in a relationship with is holding you back from your person, your actual person? Because right now you're in a relationship with a man that's your false person. But how many of y'all are in a relationship with someone that's your false person, that's keeping you from your actual person, but you think that's your person? Because April was like, oh, this is not my person. And when she came to that realization, she moved on with her life. And she said, F love, I ain't dealing with that. And she ended up meeting possibly her actual person. So some of y'all, listen, some of y'all in relationships, you're literally keeping yourself away from your real person. And trust me, I know all about it. I know when I was in a situation, I'm gonna just say I was in a situation with a false person, thinking that was my person, and it wasn't. And it wasn't. And I had a person in my mind that I thought was my person, but he had my mind so screwed up. He was doing exactly what Jake was doing. He was doing exactly what Jake was doing, which was causing confusion. He was breadcrumbing me, right? Causing confusion. You know, telling me he was going to do this, telling me he was going to do that, and da-da-da. But the reality was, he was a false person. He wasn't my real person, because my person would have actually been doing the things that I needed or that I wanted, because he would want to do those things for me. That's my person. That wasn't April's person. And some of y'all in relationships with men, it's just not your person. Okay? You deserve to move on with your life. You don't deserve to waste it with someone that's a false person. He could have trapped her. He could have definitely trapped her, for sure. He could have trapped her. I'm glad it didn't happen. That's why you got to get out while you can. Listen, a lot of these men out here trapping women. So that's why you have to be careful. Like, so many focus on the woman trapping a man, but a lot of these men are trapping too. I feel like it's 50-50. Roll the dice. So you got to be careful. And that's the thing. And I use this is a standard in my life with everybody. If a person is causing confusion in your life, a friend, a lover, family member, drop them. Period. Don't even think about it. No one should ever come in your life and cause confusion for you. No one. They should be coming and offering peace, stability, comfort, love. If it's confusion, that's chaos, and you don't deserve that. So let them go. Don't be afraid to let people go. Okay. And listen, don't allow that door the door can hit you on the way out. I ain't mean like that, but low key wouldn't mind if it did. I ain't afraid to let nobody go, especially if they're causing confusion in my life. You gotta go. And that's what I'm saying. Whenever we have these conversations, it really can apply to any relationship in your life. It's not just these men. We don't just stop and start with these men. No. It's everybody. Everybody can get this. Okay. It's everybody. Because that's truly how you have a fulfilled and peaceful life. You can't have a fulfilled and peaceful life if you are like lenient with your friends. It's like, you're like, oh, hell no, with a man. Because they two are the same. So you gotta go and listen. You know what? I'm gonna have to distance myself from that family member, because that family member got me messed up too. You know, like not everybody could get it. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna vet or not vet, if you're gonna divest, everybody, girl, we ain't gonna just start and end with these men. You get what I'm saying? Because that's not how you create an actually, truly a peaceful life. You got to get rid of everybody that's causing chaos and confusion. And your friend may be doing it. She may be gossiping about you, coming back and telling you things that somebody else done said, and spreading false information about what somebody else done said, and then want to gossip with you, or she's coming to you and she's not in the best place within her relationship. I don't know. And then she want to drag you in the middle of it. And now you stressed out because you in the middle of her drama. It don't got nothing to do with you. She got to go too. It ain't just these men, and it ain't just the toxic parents, the aunties, the uncle. Everybody gets the smoke over here. Okay. We don't just start and stop with these men. Everybody. I don't care what race you are. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care how much money you make. You gotta go. You just gotta go. Okay. I know some of these women be giving men passes because they make a certain amount. Where is my happiness in that? I mean, come on. I don't see it. Okay. Let me continue. But yeah, I just felt like Jake, he wasn't all that to me. I don't know why people try to make it seem like he was something special, but he just wasn't all that to me. I'm like, I don't really like this man. Okay, there's just something about him that's just very sneaky to me. Just very, very sneaky. So let's move on to, and then I spoke a little bit on their relationship, but Rae and Jake, I'm glad it didn't work out. I don't know why it didn't work out, but I'm actually glad it didn't work out because I felt like Rae could have definitely done better. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about this show? Jake's the nice guy. Jake is the nice guy. I make videos about him all the time. He looks good on paper, don't he? Military. I don't know what he do now. I'm assuming he got a decent job. I went on his Instagram. He has a decent job. But Jake is he looks on paper the nice guy, you know. He's served in the military and all of that. He's giving back to his community most likely and all of this stuff. But yeah, girl, no. I make videos about Jake all the time. If you want to know the type of men I've dated, it would be Jake. Okay. Y'all, a lot of y'all be like, oh, she done dated some thug. I ain't never dated a thug in my life. I've always dated the nice guy, the gentleman, the one that pulls out the chair, wants to talk about and talk about his emotions and all of that stuff. Meanwhile, you saw how he was treating the woman in his relationship. And I think Rae saw that and got the hell out. That's what I think. I think Rae saw that and was like, oh, hell no. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Let me go ahead and get the hell up out of here because this ain't it. Yeah, they have that superhero trope where they look really good on paper, but no. Thugs are gentlemen for what I know. Yeah, he's a servant. Like I said, he looks good on paper, but she ended up seeing it's all in the eyes, y'all. He's loved by his mama. Oh my God. And another thing that really triggered me was he was the type to clean. He was the type to clean up behind himself and do the dishes. You didn't have to fight him on that and stuff like that. Those are the type of men I date. The type of men that want to take 2-3 showers a day. You know, because they done had a horrible upbringing or something. Like the nice guy. Or maybe they served in the military and they know what it's like not to shower for a few days. So they take 2 to 3 showers a day because they have that. They're able to do that now. You know, like, y'all, for real. Like Jake is who I have dated in the past. Jake's. So that's why it's like, I don't know. Honestly, y'all, I just feel like you got to vet everybody the same. You can't go off of, oh, they look good on paper. Oh, their race is this. Their culture is this. You got to vet every man the same. I'm sorry. Okay. So let's move on to April and Colby. Honestly, I felt like this was a good pair. I do. Honestly, I would have loved to see where this relationship could have went, but Colby was just so in love and infatuated with Madlyn. I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. It wasn't even that they were just a good pair on paper. It was the fact that they had really good chemistry. The way their relationship seemed fun. I feel like relationships should be fun like that. I don't know if it was because they weren't taking each other serious, but for the most part, I felt like this could have been a very successful couple. And you know what? At the reunion, I also noticed how they said if they could do it again, they would have chose each other. And I'm like, ooh, I want to see what that's like. Yes, April and Colby. I don't understand why y'all think Colby is such a snake. What am I not seeing, y'all? Because I felt like Madlyn was the most biggest snake on the show to me. So she over here telling Shanice, like, yeah, girl, I kissed your man and he really liked me. I just don't understand. I don't understand why people don't like Colby. Every woman on the show, if they could choose again, they said they would have chose Colby. He was definitely uninterested in April, though. He was, but I think if he wasn't so hung up on, I felt like if he wasn't so hung up on his ex, I think they could have been a good match. Somebody said Madlyn and Colby are the same person. I don't know. I just don't see that. Like I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I don't see it. The only woman that had something bad to say was Alexis, and it was because she couldn't handle rejection well. She couldn't handle rejection well. That was the only one that had something bad to say. Literally, how do you not see Colby was manipulated? I just don't see it. I felt like he was wrong when he tried to blame Madlyn for why he kissed that girl and was texting that girl. But outside of that, I just don't see how he has a manipulative character. What's so manipulative about him? Can somebody explain? What was one of his manipulative ways? Because I really felt like he was in a toxic relationship with Madlyn. Yeah, Alexis did not like him, but it was because listen, white women with blonde hair, they don't handle rejection well. I need y'all to know that now. I went to school with them. They don't handle rejection well. But I'm like, that's not a reason not to like somebody just because they're uninterested in you. He blamed everyone else for everything. I'm trying to think. Colby seems to gaslight Madlyn at times by not taking her serious. I can see that. Doesn't know how to be accountable. Now that I can get with. He doesn't know how to be accountable. Or a good listener. I also thank you for the super chat. I also saw how he was acting with Madlyn in that moment when they were living together and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like he's a different person when he has interactions with other women. But with Madlyn, she like triggers him in the worst way. I'm still shocked that they're married. Because I didn't see him have other issues with other women for that to be his just set in stone character. Sometimes when you're in a relationship with a person, they bring out the worst sides of you. Colby was the best man on the show. He never tried to hide anything. He was very direct. Yes, he was not accountable for that incident at the club. And you know what? Like, I think the reason why he didn't want to be accountable in that moment was because he wanted to blame Madlyn because he did it out of spite. Not saying it was right, but he definitely did it out of spite. Two-Face? I don't know. Manipulative? I guess. Okay, let's move on to Lauren and Nate. Let's move on to Lauren and Nate. Let me check my camera though, real quick, y'all. But remember when Zay blew up on Colby for blaming? Okay. You know, that fight, there wasn't a lot of context. But okay, I can see that. I can see that. And how he tried to shift the blame onto Zay for kissing that girl. Okay. I can see that. I didn't speak on that situation because I'm like, what's the context? Like, the context of that fight really didn't make sense. But I can see where you guys are saying he's manipulative or he doesn't know how to take accountability, because he did try to pinpoint and put all of that on Zay. Okay. You see why I would have went home by myself though? Say, you know what's sad? He's still the best candidate on the show. That's what's so sad. Okay. So next, I'm also going to speak on Nate and Lauren. Okay. Now, with Nate and Lauren, Nate wants kids really, really bad. He made that known on the show. But one thing that I noticed about Nate in the whole who should I choose tape, like at the round table or at the table, the night that they were supposed to choose who they were going to move things further with, I noticed that Shanique was his first choice. And let me tell you something. When this scene happened, I would say like the first episode and going into like all the way up until the dinner, I wanted Nate and Shanique to work out. I'm like, yes, Shanique, Nate, y'all need to do this. Because I felt like they had chemistry. I felt like they both wanted the same things. And I could see something, happening there. But after that proposal situation, I saw a different side of Nate. Okay, so Shanique rejected him. And this is another thing that you guys need to give Shanique more credit for. You don't know what interactions were had off camera. You don't know what things were said off camera for Shanique to not choose Nate. So y'all need to give Shanique more credit. Shanique is a very intelligent girl. She's not dumb. She's not stupid. And I think after she may have saw something in Nate that she didn't like, she got with Zay because that was something that was familiar and comfortable to her. I don't know. But yeah, I still don't think Zay was the better choice or anything like that. Honestly, they wanted the same in my opinion. But I will say that I think that because she didn't feel comfortable with Nate, she just went on to Zay out of like, well, I mean, he's the only one next, so I'll just take that. So I don't think, and that's another thing. If Shanique really chose Zay to really like be on some, I'm really trying to take Zay serious, she never really, if you think about it, like when she had her first argument with Zay, she threw in the towel immediately and she wanted Randall. She didn't want Zay. So you guys are mad. I think she picked somebody that she would be more comfortable staying with, but she knew at the end of the day that she wanted Randall. She didn't want anyone else. And I never saw how Shanique and Zay were intimate, really. She got intimate with him out of jealousy, but not on some, oh, I really want to take this person serious. I really want to take this man serious. Like, I really like him type stuff. That's not the vibe that I got from Shanique. I'm sorry. I think she just chose Zay to make Randall jealous. I don't even think she was really taking any other man except for Randall seriously. Yeah, I think she knew too. I think I need to give Shanique more credit. Okay. Another thing that I didn't like about Nate was he rushed and he had like this panic proposal. So I did some research, and Hunter, he proposed to Alexis, right? Hunter went to the producers to let them know, like, he had planned on proposing to Alexis. So the producers knew about Hunter's proposal. No one knew about Nate's proposal because it was rushed. It was like a panic proposal. He noticed how his first choice, which was Shanique, was off the table. And then he whispered across the table to Madlyn saying, "Hey, I'm going to choose you. I'm going to choose you." And then when Madlyn wasn't going to choose Nate, he was like, "Okay, let me just go ahead and propose to my girlfriend." And I felt like that was such a whack proposal. It was very selfish to me, because first, a proposal is a very memorable moment for Nate, and it was a memorable moment for Lauren. I don't think any woman would have wanted to be proposed in that way. You know, he could have just chose Lauren, but he proposed to her. Like, it was just so rushed. Even the speech that he gave during his proposal speech or whatever like that, it was horrible. And so I don't think Shanique should have been with a man like that. I'm like, Black women, we are not desperate. We are not desperate for a man. Shanique could have went home by herself and been just fine. Honestly, like, let's keep it real. It's okay to go home by yourself. It's okay to choose you at the end of the day. You don't have to choose a man because he's the last man standing, or he's the only man that's available. He's the only man that wants to choose you. It's okay to just go home. Okay? You're going to get on the dating scene and you're going to date around. There's going to be plenty of men that you meet that are just not it. It doesn't mean that you should be desperate and just rush into something with that man just because he's available and he chooses you. He may not be the best man for the job. And I think that is what Shanique knew. And everyone is saying Colby was the most handsome. Nate didn't want Colby to hit that. But he proposed immediately after Colby chose Lauren. Yeah, and to be honest, I wonder, thank you for the super chat. I wonder where that relationship could have went if Colby and Lauren got together. Another thing that I want to point out, I need Black women to understand, slow down when you vet. Slow down, okay? Because a lot of y'all were like, "Oh, Nate is a good candidate for Shanique because he was saying everything that she wanted to hear. They had chemistry." Listen, you can go to a bar right now, get a little liquor in your system, meet somebody else that got a little liquor in their system, and have the most chemistry. That doesn't mean you should be with that person, though. Okay, just because you have chemistry with a person, that don't mean nothing. You have to vet them beyond chemistry to see if that is a person that you should truly be with in a serious way. You can have chemistry with complete strangers. That don't mean you should be with them. You can go out here and flirt with somebody and have some chemistry. That don't mean you should be with them. Come on, we are desperate. We are desperate. We are not desperate. And so all Nate had to do was have some chemistry and give you a good mouthpiece, and you sold? I ain't sold. I'm not sold. I'm not sold off of that. He gave the world a good mouthpiece, just like he gave the world a good mouthpiece during his proposal speech. And we knew that wasn't genuine. I have to ask Black women this, because this is part of the vetting process as well. You got to observe and you got to see things for what they are and get out of this fantasy world where you think, "Oh, he's so perfect. Oh my God." You're right. That's why you got to get outside and get that experience. You can't just be taking my word for it. You got to go outside and get the experience. I'm going to tell you that now. People don't know you have chemistry with anyone just because they have enough experience to realize that. Yeah, you can have chemistry with just about anybody. Okay. But let me finish though. Another red flag was, why is it that Lauren was with a man for 2 years? She was like, "I don't want to have his kids. I don't want to have his kids. I don't want to get married." She meet Colby. They date for 3 weeks. And she's like, "Well, I could have kids. I wouldn't mind having kids with you." I know women who are adamant about not having kids, and they don't go back on that. They are set. When a woman says that she don't want to have kids, in most cases, she will never go back on that, right? Because she truly does not want to have kids. She's not trying to make that sacrifice for whatever reason. It took Lauren 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Somebody said 3 minutes. Exactly. Y'all get my point. 3 weeks, 3 minutes. And she was like, yeah. So what is it? This is what I'm saying. Black women slow down and vet. What is it about Nate to where this woman don't want to have his kids and don't want to marry this man? They come back on the show. Nothing has changed. They not married, nothing. Their relationship is where it was 6 months ago. Y'all didn't catch that? That's what I'm saying. Black women, slow down. Slow down, okay? Just because a man give you that mouthpiece and you guys have some chemistry, don't mean that that's the man that you're supposed to be with. Slow down. So their relationship is very stagnant, and it's because she don't want to get married. She don't want to have his kids. So why in the hell we as Black women should sign up for that project? That project that's not no. Don't put that on Shanique. You know what? I'm proud of Shanique. I'm proud of Rae. I'm proud of April. They all went home alone, and some of y'all need to understand that. You get out on this dating scene, and sometimes you just gonna have to go home alone, and it's gonna be all right because you could try again tomorrow, next week, next month. But just because you meet somebody, that don't mean you got to go home with them, though. Sometimes you're gonna have to go home alone, and you're better off. I don't know. The way Nate rushed that proposal, it just really rubbed me the wrong way, y'all. And that's when I started to look over why Lauren didn't want to marry this man. I'm like, girl, it's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. It took you 3 minutes to change your mind on having kids with Colby. I don't know. That's why I'm like, Black women, you have to slow down. You have to vet so you can see things for what they really are and not live in this fantasy or delusion or illusion that you have your mind set on. Because when you look at it and you read the room and you read the situation for what it is, I have a lot of questions about Nate. And to be honest, I thought it was interesting because at the reunion, they were like, who's the person on the show that didn't really learn anything from the experience? Hunter was like, Nate. There's something about Nate. And then also everyone at the dinner table on decision night, when they chose their partners for the first time or who they were going to switch partners with for the first time, they was on Nate's ass, y'all. I know y'all saw that. They was on him, grilling him like, why would you do that? Why would you steal that moment? April was not cool with that. Why would you steal that moment away from Alexis and Hunter? And did you see how Alexis was like, so are you guys having kids or not? I just want to know. And the reason why, let me tell you something. Alexis and Hunter don't like Nate and Lauren. Well, mainly Nate, is because Nate stole that special moment away from Alexis and Hunter. That's why they like going at it like, well, was it worth, like, are y'all gonna have kids? Was it worth ruining my engagement that night? Or y'all better be having some kids if you're gonna ruin my engagement. That's what that was about. I hope y'all caught that. So I was like, she was like, I just want to know if you guys are having kids or not. Are you having kids or not? Okay, hold on. Another thing that I want to make is, are you guys seeing how white women move? They swear up and down Black women are the biggest gold diggers. Alexis made it known she need a man that is financially stable. She said she need a man that is financially stable. She said, girl, I can't deal with no other type of man. You got to be financially stable. You got to be financially stable. She was so adamant about that. So I'm like, I don't know. People are like, I like her, but it was just, she just had this arrogance about herself because she was white and blonde. And she felt like everyone should just bow down and just be head over heels in love with her off sight. I'm like, girl, calm all that down. Okay? Let people get to know you first. Let your personality match your outer beauty, you know? But I guess. Okay, so let me move on because y'all know I have a treat. Okay. Okay. Finally. Hold on. Did I talk on everything? Oh yeah, I talked on Alexis and Hunter. Okay. So I know y'all saw this go viral earlier today. I know you saw it. 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 So Shaq was on the podcast. He was on a podcast with a group of men having a discussion about his relationship or his marriage with Shawnie O'Neal. And so Shaq shares that he was at fault for his divorce. Now, for years, Shawnie O'Neal was dragged on Beyonce's internet, dragged to filth. She was a gold digger. Oh, she only was with him for the money, all of this stuff. 2022, this man comes out and says, I was at fault for my divorce. So let's see what he has to say. Because I actually am I want to know. I know y'all saw that.
Divorce, bro.
Yeah, but no.
Two people that involved in the divorce, bro.
Yeah, but no, I never talked about this, and I'm glad you guys asked.
But you can't.
No, I couldn't.
It's two people that involved in the divorce, bro.
Yeah, but no, I never talked about this, and I'm glad you guys asked because I don't mind talking about this, but I was bad. She was awesome. She really was. It was all me. I was just, look, we don't need to talk about what I was doing, but I wasn't protecting her and protecting those vows. So, sometimes when you live that double life, you get caught up in. So I'm not going to say it was her. It was all me because she did exactly what you're supposed to do. Gave me beautiful kids, take care of the house, take care of corporate stuff. It was just all me. Sometimes when you make a lot of mistakes like that, you can't really come back.
Is this a man taking accountability and full ownership for his past mistakes? Seemed like he want that old thing back. See, ladies, let me tell you something. Because Shawnie, she was just proposed to not too long ago. I know she was proposed to this year. She's engaged to some new man that she got. Listen, when you are a good woman to a man, you're unforgettable. That's why I don't know why y'all be stressing. Girl, there ain't nothing to stress about. You was a good woman to that man. He gonna remember you to the day that he dies. One thing that I have learned about men, though, is that when they get up in age and their estrogen levels have increased, right? Guilt haunts them when this happens. I don't know. It's something about when they get up in age, their body is producing more estrogen. So they're more in tune with their emotions. They're more sensitive because they have more estrogen, right? Guilt haunts them. I've seen it with my own eyes. And I'm like, ooh, this is why I don't believe in seeking revenge on a man. I don't believe that you should go out here and mess up his car, bleach his clothes, cut through, I don't know, some other items or trash his place. I don't believe that you have to do any of that. I believe time. If you give it time, he'll reap what he sowed. But you gotta give it time. And you don't want to step in that lower vibrational energy to get back at him because what you put out comes back. Sometimes 2 folds, 3 folds. So I wouldn't stoop down and try to get back at him. Time reveals all. And guilt will eat a man alive, especially in old age. So I'm sure he has been emotional over the fact that he lost Shawnie, the fact that he can even come on a podcast and openly admit that means that he's working through that guilt that he has. And he's seeing how she has moved on now. She seems happy. She got a new man. She's engaged. Do you see how tables turn? This is why I don't believe that you should ever step out of your good energy, being the good woman that you are, to stoop down to his level just to get back at him. It ain't worth it. Shawnie been out here killing it ever since. Now, I'm not the biggest Shawnie fan because I feel like she a mean girl, but you know what, sis, I can respect her when it comes to this. She was a good woman. She took care of herself. She took care of her home. She took care of her man, even though her man didn't appreciate it. So one thing that I didn't like about this interaction on this podcast is Channing can't stand this man. He wanted Shaq to deflect on his behavior. He wanted Shaq to somehow blame Shawnie for his mistakes. Did you catch that? You got me to rewind it? I can rewind it. I'm looking forward to your short video where you were showing the teas and drops you were using to help your imbalance. Oh. Yes, it's actually on my Instagram. I have a whole video, a live stream where I sit down and show you guys all of my teas, my herbs, my vitamins, sea moss, and all of that. It's in one video, and I talk about why I take them, how I use them. It is actually on my Instagram if you want to tune in. Or if you want to go watch it and get that information. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just didn't like, and this is what a lot of men do. Like, a lot of men try to get men to back out of accountability and ownership. And this is what I don't understand about the Black community. It's like they really don't want to hold men accountable. At every turn, they try to talk them out of it. If the man said he's speaking on his marriage, how is she a mean girl? Not loving basketball, Basketball Wives. Have you guys watched the show? Have you guys watched the show? I just don't like how she moves on the show. I don't know if she's like that in real life. I just didn't like how she moves on the show. And at first, I thought Shawnie was not the nice girl, but I quickly found out that she's actually mean. She plays women against each other, and I don't know if she does it to get the views on her show or if that's who she is as a person. I couldn't tell. And so after a while, I just stopped watching because I just don't like that type of negativity. Like, I've really outgrown shows like that. And the reason is because, you know, I could sit here and watch reality shows like the Ultimatum because the purpose behind this show is to get married, you know, find love and stuff like that. Is there going to be some drama attached to it? Of course, that's life. But what's the purpose of Basketball Wives? Till this day, do you guys know what the purpose of Basketball Wives is? No shade to Shawnie, but I can respect her as a woman, though. I can still respect her as a woman when it comes to her being a mom, a great wife, and things like that. But on Basketball Wives, yeah, she gives colorist vibes. She's a bully. I just didn't like her on that show. I'm sorry. If you've never watched Basketball Wives, I can understand, but I still don't know the purpose behind Basketball Wives. I personally have grown as a person to where I don't even want to watch shows unless there's purpose behind it. And with Ultimatum, I don't know. It's probably a show I wouldn't have watched, but the purpose behind me watching it was so I could bring you this commentary tonight. But I probably wouldn't have tuned in and watched it. I'm just being honest. I don't watch TV like that for real. So I just, if there's no purpose behind it, I honestly don't care about it. That's just me. If it don't serve no purpose, no higher purpose at that, like I can't learn from it, become more educated, wiser beyond the program, or I don't care to tune in. I'm sorry. So when it comes to Basketball Wives, there's no purpose behind it. I just don't care to watch it. I'm sorry. All they're gonna do is fight. It's gonna be drama. It's gonna be mean girl behavior. And I personally have outgrown that type of content. I used to be the biggest, and I'm not saying that, oh, I'm better, girl, I don't watch Basketball. No, I really mentally cannot put myself back in that energy where I could watch stuff like that, where I actually enjoyed it. Because it's very, I don't know, I just don't like how it affects my energy. It like really brings me down. I don't know how to explain it. So I just don't tune in and watch the type of stuff. Not saying I'm better than people that do tune in or anything. It's just not for me, y'all. But I on the show, the reason why I don't really like Shawnie is because the way she portrays herself to be on that show is just like, girl, you just seem like a mean girl. You seem colorist. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, is she doing it for views, or is this who she is? I don't know. But I can respect her as a woman when it comes to, you know, being about your business, taking care of your family, taking care of your kids, being a good wife. I can respect her in that way, though. So I tried, like, even when I don't like somebody, I try to find a reason to respect them, and I found them. So he said she was a good wife. She was a phenomenal woman within the marriage with Shaq, and they worked together for a very long time. I can respect her for that. So you guys want me to react to courtship next? Okay, I could do that. I don't. It's not even just basketball wives. Like I used to watch Bad Girls Club, Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop. Y'all, I was just a reality TV fanatic. Like I love me some reality TV. And then I would say about probably like 3 years now. I haven't really been tuning in like that. I don't know. Is reality TV still in its prime, or it's kind of not? I don't mind. I have never tuned into Real Housewives. Like I've never watched one episode. I'm sorry. I just never got into it when it was time to get into it. And when you have to go back and watch every season to get caught up on everything, I just never did. Yeah, those shows definitely disturb your peace. They do. Like I can't even tap into that type of stuff now. Like it actually drains my energy. That's why it's like I can't really watch it. But these shows where it's like more diverse and things like that, I can handle it. I used to watch Flavor of Love. What was the other show? Monique had a show too. Reality show on VH1. It was like Charm School. I like Charm School too. I used to watch Charm School. So this was the good old days. Reality TV was good back in the day, y'all. I love me some Charm School. That was my show. So I know some people are. Ooh, did my camera just die? Hold on. I'm gonna just. Oh my gosh, what was I about to say? I know some people are new to reality TV or still tune into reality TV, but I used to watch reality TV, so I'm not over here judging nobody for real. Okay. It's just I can't bring myself to watch it. I watch that type of stuff no more. I love New York. I used to love that show. I love New York. That was one of my favorite shows too. So on that note, you guys, that's all that I have regarding this video. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video short because my camera did die. And Jersey Shore, that was my show. So if you still watch reality show, y'all, I'm not going to judge you for that. I mean, I think once you get to a certain level, you'll eventually grow out of it. But I used to be a reality show fanatic. College Hill was a good show. Love that show. Bridezillas, I tuned in every now and then to Bridezillas, but Love and Hip Hop, that was my show. And Jersey Shore. Baldwin Hills, yes, love that show. So that's all that I have regarding this video. Please follow me on Instagram at Real Yoni. I have content on there as well if you want to tune in. I may go live later tonight after this live. So if you want to tune in, I always do like an after hour, after dark type stuff. So if you're into that, definitely tune in. And also, let me know what you guys would like to see next. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye. Have a nice night or morning, afternoon.